Alrighty guys, Azzy here bringing us into the Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video. This is going to be in regards to season 57. So last season we ended off at rank 7,890, which is actually pretty good considering we had 0 Z tier characters on our team. It was our first time using Lord Slug and he's alright, definitely not the best nor the worst. The main reason why you brought him in the first place is because of his S tier rating. We also tried out Orange Piccolo, who is currently now in C tier, and I do have to say I don't think he's that great. Right, I do not see us using him again in the future. I definitely do think the first form cell is better, especially because for the most part we do run a blast based team. Alright, so now getting that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the video. And as you guys do know, there will be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is our pathing. So as you can see right here, we have the Cyan pathing alongside the circled red fights. So circled red fights are the most important fights within TOP, right? Because those are when you get your win streak bonuses. On the 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th win, that's where you're going to be receiving the most points. If you stray from the regular pathing of the blue, the Cyan pathing, then that's okay. That's more than fine as long as you land on those red tiles. But also keep in mind this is a loosely based path, it is subject to change. So now let's talk about our tips and tricks. Please farm your friendship rank, especially since Path to Friendship is back. I already have it completed for today, so you're gonna see 0 left today. You can do this once daily. You can bring in 3 units to this, right? So you're going to be able to farm friendship rank pretty quick through this. You also have your daily fights, which I've also done today, right? Though you get 3 of those per day, it's only for 1 of your units, but still is definitely worth doing. And lastly, we also have this event battle from the Miraculous Alliance 5th year anniversary. You'll see right here I have 0 left today, but it's this Hercule fight. Again, so you have 3 options of increasing your friendship rank. You should be working on your units individually, especially if you have a mainstay team like I do for regeneration. As you can see right here, these are all my regeneration characters. I do have it filtered by friendship rank. It does cap out at friendship rank 10. Some of the new viewers might be wondering why friendship rank is so important. We can click on any of these units right here. For example, this Piccolo, and we're going to see his stats. His health is at 2.5 million. His key restore speed. Key restore speed is very important for TOP. That dictates how early you're going to attack. But his key restore speed is at 2,538. Now let's go ahead and see what TOP stats. It jumps all the way up to 2,664, from 2.5 million HP to 2.7. You get an increase to your stats across the board, and that is because of the friendship rank. It does cap out at friendship rank 10, so make sure you guys are farming it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about the pathing tips and tricks. So the first fight we come across that it's somewhat annoying is this Sagas from the movie stage. It's not even that bad. Just worry about this purple Bojack right here. He will super attack you at the end of turn 2, right? And the reason being at the end of turn 2 is because he has a really low key restore speed, so you do have a little bit of leeway on turn 2. He's going to be one of your main priorities there. Alright, so the next fight we're going to be talking about is this double tag unit with Ultra Vegito. So the first unit that I do advise taking out here is the tag units, right? Primarily the tag androids. You don't want him to swap out into Android 18, same with Vegeta. You don't want him to swap into the Vegeta side. And then Ultra Vegito, you don't necessarily have to attack him early on. If you want to, you can, but he is safe to attack last as well. He does have a counter, which he will do damage against you against the Blast Arts. And Miwai also has a counter, which he will activate upon any arts, right? Whether it be Strike Arts or Blast Arts. He cannot counter a Special Move Arts, but those are the 4 units you do have to worry about. Again, I would go for the droids first. Next, we have this LOE stage. Frieza's going to stun you on turn 1. There's nothing you can do about that. You have to just go ahead and eat it. But I do advise killing the Broly and Chilai as your first unit, because at the start of the second turn they activate the green card and they cancel 1 of your units attribute upgrades, and so they end up taking a significant amount of damage, especially if they have sustained damage cut. Next, we have this girl stage right here. Again, tag droids first, right? Those are always, because they're a scary unit. I'm not gonna lie, you don't want them to tag out. And then I would go for the green Mai. She will stun you at the end of turn 2. And then also make sure you take care of Urine early on, because she has insane debuffs as well as high damage. We have the Super Warrior stage that we are pretty familiar with, right? This actually kind of pops up multiple seasons in a row. Tien is going to be the first unit that you take out here because he will stun you at the start of turn 2. He does have a solar flare. After him, I do kind of just go for this Kamikolo right here, the yellow one, because he does buff his allies. And then I go for the baseball Yamcha at the very end because he will also buff all his allies upon mitigating a blast arts attack, because that's something that he can do. He is the home run Yamcha after all. Then we have this first boss fight right here. There's double stuns. I know usually I avoid double stuns altogether. If you can kill Whis and Beerus in turn 1, this is going to be the easiest stage of your life. If you can't kill both of those, you have to get one of those out of the way, right? Because they will both stun you at the start of turn 2. Personally, I would go for Whis first because he supports the team, or well, he supports Godki specifically. So if you get him out of the way, you avoid a stun and you take out the support. So next up, we do have this rival universe type of team. Go for Champa first here, right? Champa will stun you at the start of turn 2, and then I do like going for hit last because he will mitigate one of your attacks with his time skip counter. Next, we have another saga from the movie stage, specifically the Fusion Reborn movie stage. You do want to get Ultra Gogeta out early on, right? The reason for that being is that he will build up his special move gauge per defeated ally, and he will end up getting his super attack if you save him for last. So definitely attack him first. Do keep in mind that Janemba, the purple Janemba, will mitigate a blast arts while gaining 50% to his special move gauge, and then the red Janemba will mitigate a blast arts while also stunning you. Typically, I would go for the Ultra Gogeta first and then the Red Janemba last. So we have another Ultra Vegeta stage right here, but there's Tapion. So what I would do here is I would go for Tapion first and then Ultra Vegeto and then the LF Cooler. Pretty straightforward. The other units are pretty much fodder. But the reason I do go for Tapion first is because he will reduce one of your units' special move gauge down to 0 on the start of the second turn. And that is pretty much it. It's honestly kind of a straightforward season. I don't think there's too many difficult fights. There's just a lot of ultra units on the board ahead of us. So you do want to take in some heavy hitters, some good tanking units, and of course, you want your healers. But let me know in the comment section down below if you think there's any fights that I should have covered in this. So now let's go ahead and move on to our top teams. The first team we're going to be talking about is USS, and we have two variations of them here actually. So the first one that you're seeing right here on the right hand side, this is the current rank 1 player, at least at the time of recording. Let's go ahead and break it down real quick. That EX Namek Goku, he heals. The EX 18 heals. Those are both phenomenal units for this. I completely agree with it, right? I do not have that yellow 18, so obviously I really wouldn't be able to run this team. But I'm pretty sure, so the Goku, he heals to the left and to the right tile, as well as his own tile. Same thing with the Android 18. As for the Cybermen that they have on backup, the yellow Cyberman heals minions only, right, by 4% I believe it is on the third turn, and the blue Cyberman gets a guaranteed super every single fight because he builds it up by 30% per turn. EX Krillin has a solar flare, meaning that he's going to be able to stun, I believe, on turn 1. But overall, this team looks very fragile. That is why I have the two teams to show here. So on this variation, there is still two healers here, but in the form of blue EX Kale. That's also who I have on the left-hand side for my own team, right? She's a fantastic healer. As you can see right here, she buffs the row right above you. You could also go ahead and check this by clicking on her. You're going to see exactly where she's going to be healing. It does include that top row and herself. So that's 4 units out of your 6. That's pretty solid. Of course, yellow 18 is still here too. Another great unit if you have her. But most notably, we have C tier Goku and Frieza. Please do not be afraid of C tier. This person is in the top 100 with this team, and I think this is a very safe, a very easy approach to USS. For the next thing we're going to be talking about is the girls team. For girls, we have two familiar healers here, right, with blue EX Kale. We've already talked about her. I'm a big fan of this unit. And yellow 18. Again, I do not have her. I don't expect a lot of you guys to have her, but if you do, you have her at a comfortable amount of stars, I think it is worth trying that combination out together. But if you are missing a healer by any chance, like I am, you can bring in this red 18 right here. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get the full extent of their healing. If we click on 18 right here, she's getting healed. Vidal's getting healed. Both of the Vidals are getting healed right there, right? And if we click on Kale, you can see all 3 of those units are getting healed. So either way, heals are going all the way around. Another great unit here is Urine, right? Because she does provide so many debuffs. And another one of my favorite things about her is that at the start of the third turn, she does get 30% to her own special move gauge. So she'll probably be firing off those special special moves often. If you are missing 1000 Day Bulma here, you can easily replace her with this purple Mai. Not necessarily easy, obviously, the 1000 Day Bulma is still going to be the better option here, the better pick. But this is a supplementary unit, as in she will still buff your entire team by 15% to damage inflicted. And of course, instead of the purple Chi-Chi, you do see me bringing in this purple Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla because of the Zenkai unit. Just going to be basically, she's not necessarily a standout unit or anything like that, but because of her having the Zenkai stats, it's going to be helpful. So next we have Ginyu Force. So surprisingly, they actually do make the cut this season. They mesh incredibly well with each other and other Frieza Force members, right? Most of the units, if you click on them, you look at their ability, pretty much most of their abilities are going to look like this. If there are 3 or more tag Ginyu Force or tag Frieza Force, etc., etc., you want them to be ran with each other. But personally, if I'm running this team, I'm bringing in Revival Frieza, no doubt, right? He is in B tier. I do not care, right? Because not only does he provide debuffs for the enemy team, he also heals. He's a healer for Lineage of Evil or Frieza Force. He only restores health by 2% 2 times, but still, that's worth it alone. Being a revival unit, you know, he's going to be incredibly worthwhile here in terms of keeping your team alive in terms of sustainability. And speaking of Frieza Force, you know who else you can slap on this team is the Goku and Frieza. These guys are pretty much unkillable. They heal on every single strike arts attack. So I think it is worth it. Even though they are C tier, I 100% think it's worth it. This should be an easy season for all my LOE/Frieza Force enjoyers. Also, it is worth mentioning that technically Shallot can be run on this team. He actually has a decent kit for Super Saiyan Blue. So, but only if he has a Frieza Force outfit on right here. You can see right here, because of the outfit I'm wearing the Vegeta. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the Vegeta Saiyan armor. So he is on the Frieza Force tag. He does give damage inflicted to his allies, he heals himself, and most importantly, he does build his special move gauge per strike arts or blast arts. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is Sun Family. If you've been following the channel for a while, then this team doesn't really need any explanation, but Namek Goku is your designated healer. Again, we can see right here, he buffs to the left and to the right of him, as well as his own tile. That man is also Z tier, by the way, which is massive. But the most insane thing about this team is the fact that if we hop into S tier, we can see that Goten and the blue Kaioken Goku Zenkai are both in S tier, which is ridiculous, which is honestly batshit, because they both get guaranteed super attacks per fight. You're going to be having 2 guaranteed super attacks a fight, guys. The Zenkai Blue Gohan is in B tier, but honestly, he's still amazing because he is your tank unit. He will soak up all of the damage on turn 1, meaning that he does need to be put next to a healer at all times. This is going to be one of the easiest, if not the easiest team to run this season, right? The rest of the units are kind of, they don't really matter as long as you have those core 4 units, which is Goten, Namek Goku, Blue Gohan, this Kaioken Goku. You can kind of just slap on whoever you want on here. Obviously, there's multiple Z tier characters on here with the EX Gohans. But say you wanted some extra firepower, you wanted to swap one of these guys out for maybe, I don't know, Goku Frieza, right? Beast Gohan, right? Even the Blue Boys, something like that. That is something that you guys can do to be extra safe. This is a very easy team to build. I think there's a lot of replacements for it as long as you have those 4 units. And last but not least, we have regeneration. So let's go through this real quick, right? So we start off in Z tier. I think all these units are pretty bad. I have seen a lot of people use this yellow slug. If you got a Zenkai, I would use him. I personally don't like him. Same with this nail. I have used him. I don't think he's that great. Again, another unit needing an EX Zenkai. But we go into S tier and we do have some pickups there, right? We have the EX Cell. He's at Friendship Rank 10. The EX Zenkai Cell, another unit at Friendship Rank 10, who also has a stun at the end of turn 2, which can come in clutch sometimes. It's definitely RNG dependent, situational, but I still like it nonetheless. We are going to be bringing in the addition, instead of the orange Piccolo that we had last season, we're going to be using this green Buhan right here. He's not the best unit when it comes to damage, but he does have damage mitigation, right? Because he has the bubble shield. Before receiving a strike or blast arts, you activate that green card. He also has the ability to heal himself a little bit. Moving on into A tier, we do have our true and blue Kamikalo Zenkai, who does get his super attack very often. We can go into B tier right here, and we do have Red 21 Boo tanks with our guaranteed super attacks, as well as our Fat Boo, who is one of our healers. So there's one replacement here, the Red 21. Some of you guys may actually want to skip Red 21, go into A tier, and put on this Red Buhan. He is the better unit. I only have him at 3 stars, but you can see I do have him at Friendship Rank 10, so maybe in the future we will end up using it. And last but not least, in C tier, we do have our Super Baby 2. Now remember, your C tier units are giving you a 0% boost to your score, so they're the least valuable units on your team, but just because they're not valuable in terms of points doesn't mean they're not valuable to your team. He is the best healer for regeneration / GT. He's going to get ran no matter what. If you need any replacements for any of the teams listed, let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys think there's any teams that should have been listed that didn't make the top 5 for this season, also let me know in the comment section down below. Now for the final segment, it is going to be new units. Let's take a look at this Goku Black right here. We're going to display him at maximum stats, key restore speed 2,429. With friendship rank 10, that easily goes up to 2,550. Right, so that's actually pretty decent for a free-to-play unit. He does have the standard blue card, and let's take a look at his first ability. 70% to damage inflicted, plus 30% to special move damage inflicted, minus 20% to damage received, 10% to special move gauge charge rate. That's alright, right? Obviously, I'm not going to say that's bad, but when you see something like that, you always want it to be a percentage to special move gauge, period. Right, the charge rate is like a lesser version of that. But on Blast Arts attack, he does get plus 3% to special move gauge, which is huge. So he's going to be getting that every time he uses a blast. On special move arts, he cancels buff effects. That's pretty good as well. At the start of the first turn per ally tag future or event exclusive, 10% to key recovery and another 3% to special move gauge. Already, that's great. So that already, if it's including himself, that's already 18% at the start of the first turn, right? And then up here, that's going to be a total of 12% since there's 4 turns of fight, going to be getting 30% per fight, which is actually pretty solid for a free-to-play unit, I'm not going to lie. At the end of the second turn, you get 20% to your own special move gauge charge rate, so more charge rate. And you also cancel attribute downgrades for ally tag future or events exclusive, and you inflict all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received for 2 turns. That's actually, he has a really solid kit. I could see him getting playtime easily. And for the final unit we're going to be talking about is the Sword of Hope Trunks right here. Not necessarily a new unit, but a new Zenkai. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at him with ToP stats. Definitely on the lower end of things with his Q restore speed 2,356. Not the worst I've ever seen though. He does have a blue card and an ultimate ability. At the start of the first turn, 90% to damage inflicted, minus 20% to damage received, plus 20 to key recovery. Should have been percentage. If they would have changed that to percentage, it would have been a game changer. Plus 20% to damage inflicted for 1 turn. After receiving a strike or blast arts, minus 10% to damage received, and plus 10, another 10 to key recovery activates twice. He does have a cover change that is health restricted by 40%, which is better than the usual 30%. And at the start of turn, own health is 60% or below, restores health by 10%, activates once, 20% to damage inflicted, 20% to ultimate damage. I don't see him getting playtime, if I'm being real honest with you. If this was like 90% or below, 80% or below, I could see him being used a lot more. But because of it being 60% or below, this guy is a tanky unit, keep in mind, right? Like, he has a lot of like defensive capability. I don't really see you hitting below that 60% threshold a lot. I don't think he's going to be that worth it. Let me know what you guys think. With that being said, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this season's guide. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the season or ToP in general, let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed the content, definitely leave a like or maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Later!